Hi, everybody. Lori, GLP-1 Journey in Review. Welcome to my live. We have some stuff to talk about today. I want to start off by saying I am not a healthcare provider. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not giving out advice. I'm telling you what works for me. I want to start off again by saying, May the 4th be with you if you're a Wars fan. Let's see, there we go. Um, how's everybody doing? How's your journey going? I know most of you watch this on replay, and that's great. Uh, Next week, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a live on Sunday. We are going on vacation. We're leaving Sunday, so we'll probably be on the road. I'm considering doing one either earlier or on Saturday. Or even on Monday. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Hi, Carol. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. May the 4th be with you. Uh, Again, want to start off now by talking about what's going on with Mochi. I have had the most amazing luck with them. I ordered medication. Let me backtrack that up a little bit. I was actually due for my next dose of medication while I was on vacation. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So I went ahead and I ordered it early on Monday, and it came to me by Friday through Empower super fast. I've been super, super lucky with them. I can't complain. I know everybody else has had problems, so I realize it is just luck. What can I say? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Yeah, what can I say? So, with all that being said, I know that they're still trying to do some damage control. I believe they know that they are low on a couple of doses, and they're um, slowing down on some of their new customers. I don't know if they've totally stopped, but um, they said that they've hired a whole bunch of people for customer service to help with all these backlogs on the app, on the website, phone calls. I know it takes quite a while to train them, but I still think they could have handled it a little bit better. Dr. Myra is saying that no, she did not own uh, Akita, whatever they're pronouncing him this week. And they're saying, I forgot the guy's name, but he was a pharmacist and he was also the head pharmacist. Again, there's some trust issues now. I don't know if I totally believe that. Again, that's why I think they really should have had a PR company handle all of this, you know, with everything going on like this. So that's my opinion of Mochi. Like I said, I'm still going to use them as long as I'm having luck. If you are using them, please make sure that you're doing it on a credit card that is easy to dispute in case you do have problems. Once you do a dispute, you will be kicked off of there. So if you're going to do a dispute, make sure you get all your medical records and everything you can off of there first, because you will just disappear like you never even existed. So, you know, that's just my little bit of advice for you. Against a lot of fly-by-night places that are popping up and they are advertising. Be careful who you choose. I know people are stocking up. I know personally I am, but I'm only using the main companies, mainly, well, only really Mochi and Orderly. I know that most people have seen uh, Brittany Rose's video that they're going to be having some new ways of doing things, that they're going to be sending out people a scale that they will have access to. Some people, they're going to require blood work. They're going to have a little bit more in-depth conversation with the doctor and yourself, or nurse practitioner, whatever kind of healthcare provider they use, so that they could come back and say, oh, well, due to this blood work, due to this weight, and due to this, that, and the other thing, this is why I think this person needs this special compound with this special additive. Will it work? I don't know. Is it a bad idea? Again, If it doesn't help, I mean, it can't be a bad idea. My only thing is that a lot of people that are using these telehealth are using them because uh, their insurance won't cover it. And I know a lot of them will cover blood work, but so many people have such a high deductible that they'd be paying it out of pocket. I hope if they are going to require blood work, they do make some sort of special arrangement to get a lower rate if you don't have insurance. Because again, you add that to everything else, and it all adds up to the price. And that's basically why people are using compound, is they can't afford the price of the name brand medication. It's not so much because they like compound better, although compound does have its good sides. For example, when we go away, we're going to lower our dose a little bit. So it's kind of like going to be an in-between dose where my wife has been on 10 and is about to go up to 12.5. We're going to make her somewhere around 8, 8.8. Hi, Adol. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. And you have the freedom to kind of custom your dose with that. I know a lot of people, it's especially easy if you're microdosing. Some people are taking half their dose, let's say on Wednesday, the other half on uh, Saturday or Sunday. You could do that. You can't do that with the name brand pens because that's all you get is what's in the pen. And that doesn't always work. So you probably could on the vials, but again, they have it so that if you don't order it within every 45 days, the price goes up to almost what you would be paying without, uh, the savings anyhow. So that's my objection with that. So what's going on with me this week? Well, stayed the same with my weight. Had a little bit of a scare on, I think it was Tuesday. Seeing that I'm a little bit older, uh, back that up a little bit. The night before, I ate some honeydew, which didn't taste very good. So I thought, well, maybe it's bad honeydew. And next day when I woke up, hi, Honor, how you doing? Welcome to the live. Pop in with any questions that you want. So the next day, was all of a sudden like I had such a severe pain like I've never had. And let me kind of see if I could show you where it was kind of like right here. So I wasn't sure if it was chest or upper abdomen. And I know as you get older, women's heart is a little bit different than men's. And it kind of scared me because it was, I have a pretty high tolerance for pain, but this was pretty bad enough where like I was crippled over for a moment, like cold sweat, the whole bit. I'm like, oof, this is not right. And went away and I was fine. Came on again, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, same thing. And I'm like, oh, this is a little scary because this definitely feels like something's wrong. So went away. Like, okay, maybe fluke. When it happened the third time, it was like I got my wife. We were debating what to do. I'm like, well, if it is hard, better. I know you're better off if you go into a hospital in an ambulance. It's just total different care, total different treatment, total different protocols that they could run. So we called for the ambulance, and I knew that they had all sorts of EKG things, and they could probably tell right away if it was a heart attack or not. And they came, they did a couple of EKGs. They're like, well, it doesn't look like it's really a heart attack or anything like that, but you probably should go to the emergency room. So like, I'm like, well, if that's the case, I'd rather just like go myself. I'll have my wife drive me. They're like, okay, we're okay with that. So I went in there and kind of like blew that day. And turns out I was dehydrated. Uh, Again, I drink a lot of water, but I did have some diarrhea that morning. I don't know if that was from the honeydew that I ate the night before or not. Who knows? Uh, and then, another thought that I had is, pain like that right over there. Now, one of the complications from these medications is pancreatitis. So, let's get it checked out. So they ran some blood work. They did some more EKGs, all that kind of good stuff, and ran a couple bags of IV. I felt a lot better. Didn't have really another bout of pain. And then they told me that my white count was elevated. And if I ate something bad, it probably wouldn't affect my white count. So they were kind of looking into that a bit. I was also at a hospital that has a reputation that, according to them, everybody in the ER has a pulmonary embolism, and they were trying to talk me into getting a CT pulmonary embolism study. And like, I don't have a pulmonary embolism. I've done CT now for almost 40 years. I'd be shocked. I would like quit my job and stop making any predictions and all that if that was the case. Um, Hi there, Dwight. What's going on to stop this crazy inflation? That's a whole nother topic. But anyhow, I'm like, well, maybe I should get a CAT scan on my belly. Maybe it's, pancreatitis or something like that. And they're like, no, your amylase is fine. And so we figured it was probably gastritis. I was fine, been fine since. Kind of made me tired, kind of got me scared. But, that was my excitement for the week. And it just kind of threw my whole week off a little bit because, I was supposed to go work out that day. I had some things planned, had to kind of put it off and didn't get to do it. So, on to another subject. So, I was just getting this on my phone, so let me get it back here. And now there is phone on do not disturb, so that doesn't happen again. Sorry about that. The study suggests that consuming more than 300 grams, which is 10.5 ounces of poultry per week, may be associated with a 27% increase of all-cause mortality compared to people that eat less than that a week, and that it can lead to certain cancers and deaths. So what, are they going to try to take chicken away from us now? I mean, come on. I don't eat a lot of chicken, but I go through spurts where I just have a taste for chicken. I try to eat a lot of seafood, and I also have um, beef, pork, considered beef. It's not really the other white meat. That was just a advertising campaign. But I try to stick to seafood, and one of the main reasons is because I eat a little bit later at night than I probably should, and that's because of work. Not much I could do about that. My job is my job. I have to make a living, and that's those are my hours. Uh, Called your successful reordering. Yay, Cam! Yes, there we go. I am with Mochi as well. I had a visit with my let me actually hit this up so everybody could read it instead of just having me read it to them. There we go. With my provider as well, it was great. She said she wasn't taking any new patients. I was having trouble reordering through the website. Finally gave up. Well, let me tell you one thing that Mochi's doing now, because I had a hard time too. And again, being where I am with the channel and knowing other influencers and stuff, we kind of have a couple little secret ways to get through. But if your date that you do your refill, you have to wait at least 10 days between that first date and your next refill before you can even get it. It won't even show up. So that's just one little trick that I learned. So if on the first you ordered a refill and let's say you got it on the 5th, you cannot order another refill till after the 10th, where before they weren't controlling that. I guess that's one of the things that they're going to be controlling from now on. So that's what I think might have happened with that. Again, I'm hearing people are getting through Mochi a little bit easier, a little bit less of a wait. Sometimes they wait for a while and get a recording. Once they leave the recording, like what's happening with my order, they don't really get back to them, but mysteriously, like within a few hours after that, on the web or on the website under actions, it's like order sent to pharmacy, or some progress is all of a sudden made. or a day after that, all of a sudden they receive their shipping notice and so forth. So we'll see. Hopefully, they're going to improve it. Um, they set the bar really low in the last month or so. So again, I've been super super lucky with them, and I can't complain. But I wouldn't take that as the norm. I still hear people are having trouble, but it is getting better. I know Dr. Myra is saying that she is. Uh, Hi, Shaquille. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Without Shaquille's help, this channel probably wouldn't exist. So, if anybody needs any help with social media or with any YouTube channel, Shaquille there, he's the guy to go to. Loads of help. Great guy. So keep that in mind. So anyhow, getting back to Mochi, Dr. Myra sort of almost kind of made an apology. Again, she said that, they didn't own the pharmacy, the pharmacist did. Uh, what can we do? Do you want something in video? All this kind of stuff, but then haven't heard anything more about that. So it looks like maybe she's trying, but, who knows? Okay, so let's see what Val has to say. Hi, Laurie. So, what pharmacy is Mochi using now? I got mine through Empower. I know they're also using Red Rock. They have a little map that that you look up for where you live as to which pharmacy they're going to use for you. And if for some reason that one's has a delay, they're going to send it out to a different pharmacy because they say above all, they want their patients to get the medication in the fastest way possible. Let's see, I am not with them anymore. Yeah, you did tell me that. You found Lavender Sky Health and having difficulty, and I'm not sure how this is all going to turn out with compounds. I hear Orderly is pretty good. I went back to Orderly, didn't have any problems. It took the usual 10 days or so. I had medication, so that really wasn't the issue. I just wanted to have some extra medication. Uh, and that's that. Okay, where is the map? I don't have it handy, but when I do find it, I will post it. I do have a support group on Facebook, GLP-1 Journey in Review, and feel free to check it out. I'll also put it on my Facebook, Lori Eisman. Just I'll put it on there when I find it. I just don't want to go looking for it right now because I'm in the middle of a live. Let's see. Okay, there's major backlog of orders from all the telehealth because everybody is stocking up. Like I said, I was just super lucky. I put my order in on Monday with Mochi and I received it on Friday through Empower. My only thing with Empower is they use so much packing for just a little vial. I mean, but if that's my biggest complaint, that's nothing. Do you reorder? I reorder online. I have had no problem as far as reaching them, but I'm up at about 3:30 in the morning for work, and I call it like 4 in the morning, and I have zero problem reaching them. Again, they do have a new thing that you have to wait 10 days between orders. So if you reorder on the 1st, and let's say you get the medication on the 6th and you're going to say, oh, I'm going to reorder again, you probably have to wait to the 11th so that there's 10 days between there. You My order from Mochi was from Red Rock. I've had orders from Red Rock too. I do appreciate the fact that they did have a smaller, package and a little bit less waste because, if you care anything about the environment, that's to me a bit of a waste. Now, like I was saying with Orderly, I'm sure everybody has seen Brittany Rose's thing where they're going to send you out a scale, lab work, and do that. And they're also doing a major study on shipping the medication without refrigeration and they're going to have the results on their website, because if you choose and you decide that this is what you want, you'll save some money, because it probably costs $35 or so just for the packing and shipping with that. So, they would rather pass the savings on to us if we're comfortable with it. I'm not affiliated with Orderly. I'm just, repeating what I said because I want all of you to um, share and maybe get the medication cheaper. I personally, like I said, the first telehealth company that I used, it came warm. Uh, I just put it in the refrigerator, no problem with it. Lost plenty of weight with it. So, I don't really, and the first one took like a week to get here, even though it was supposed to be 2 or 3 day shipping. I don't remember if it was because of a storm or whatever it was, but again, it's a very stable medication, and I don't have a problem with it being a little bit warm for a little bit longer than what they say. I would just put it in the refrigerator. And even these Red Rock and Power and stuff like that, since they're so backlogged and having a hard time, they've sent emails with, and also in their packing slips sometimes that say it's okay if it got warm, just put it into the refrigerator. And I truly believe that, worst case scenario, it's going to be like 97, 98% effective, and I'm good with that. Especially with Orly, if I could save some money with that. And they're going to let, they're opening their own pharmacy, which will be ready in August, which would probably be the cheapest. But if you say, no, I want Red Rock, they're going to have it available. It just might be a different price. So they're going to have all these different pharmacies with their different prices. How you want it shipped could save you some money, and that sounds good because, Orderly is a little bit more expensive than Mochi, but we don't know what's happening with Mochi. We don't even know what's happening with the compounding. I think having a big scale like this with labs and scales and a little bit more monitoring, and they'll probably require a little bit more with their telehealth care provider. Hopefully, it's kind of like Orderly now does it with text rather than an actual visit. So, that's not too inconvenient. Like I've had them text me at work and, couldn't get back immediately, finish the text. Oh, no, this was, my weight when I started. This is my current weight. This is how long I've been on maintenance, that type of thing. And, it took a day, for us to get back and forth. But like I said, I had medication. This was just, for a little bit of a stockpile. So, if you have the luxury of having a couple of vials or a vial, ahead of what you need, it shouldn't be a problem. So just an idea. Just, I know that it's expensive and hate to do that, but now a new study came out from I think it's like AON, that they had a big study. I forget exactly how many people, but I think there were like 175,000 of this group of overweight and obese people, and 140, 150, something like that, thousand were on GLP-1 medication. Well, in that group, uh, healthcare came down, and they didn't get so many emergency room visits, big surgeries because of complications, uh, big diabetic complications, cardiac, that went way down. Absenteeism in work came way down, and uh, this company that did this is like a gigantic risk management type of company. So, if they could get this word out there and, companies look at it, they may start saying, this could save us money overall. Maybe we should cover it and maybe we can get more coverage. For myself, I don't know if that's going to happen because I'm on Medicare, but, eventually, again, you get, if the, uh, companies that are providing the coverage for the healthcare are realizing it. Maybe the government will and say, hey, we could save healthcare costs overall if we make this available with everybody. And, again, this is promising, this is good. So, things are going in our direction. I think the fact that the OFA FDA court date is taking a lot longer than it is supposed to be, then I think that's a good sign, at least as far as stretching it out, because they've already said they're not going to take any action until this lawsuit is settled. So, again, it's a really good sign that everybody thought it was going to be a quick decision, and it wasn't. So again, that to me, I think that means a lot for everybody that's on compound. Like even if it makes it stretches out another 6 months, we'll little sigh of relief, and closer to when the other medications are coming out. Thank you for everybody for joining the live. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna try not to put some of this political drama up here. So let's see. That's where we did that one. Okay, so any questions anybody else has as far as medication? I know that some of the ads that I'm getting are having medication, and the medication is coming in powder. Please stay away from all of that. It is really hard to get the concentration right. You really have to know what you're doing. You really have to have the right supplies and so forth. It is super easy to misdose yourself, and to save an extra $50, it's not worth it. Trust me. Not with this medication, but I've seen other medications, being in the healthcare profession, uh, a lot of people coming in because they didn't get the dose right because they had to mix it up themselves. So, trying to see if I could pull up this other thing that I have. I think I actually have it up here on my laptop. Uh, okay, they've now made Victoza in generic form. I haven't really heard too much about this medication. It is a GLP-1. Uh, again, any step is a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. So to me, that's good. Uh, again, the more options we have, the better. Being on maintenance, I would be willing to try another medication. Uh, maybe they'll drop the vial prices, and that's the case. If they would drop it to, I would like to see them drop to like 250, but if they would drop it to 300, because let's face it, we're paying with Mochi 199 and then $79. Easily, I would switch to name brand. That to me, that's a no-brainer. Uh, but getting them to do it, I know that they haven't met their stock expectations to their shareholders, or you should say not their stock, but they haven't met their the amount that they were supposed to make, even though they've made billions and billions. But this is what we want. We want accessibility and affordability. That's all we want. Like I think Eli Lilly did great in coming up with this medication. Novo Nordisk, the same thing. I know they put a lot of research into it, a lot of money into it, and like I said, they have it dropped down now to 500. They're saying that the average dose costs $5 to make. If they would put it down to 300, 320, I'll even give them that. Like they're still making a lot of money, and instead of, just getting what they do, the amount that they would sell would probably be 10 times, and they probably go into a shortage again. That's the ironic thing. And and not to get political, but the ironic thing is people covering, the shortage in the government, and people that are actually watching these medications, and people that are actually watching the compound medications were laid off because of costs. That's it for politics. Sorry. Let's see. What else does Val have to say here? $2.99. Uh, let's see. I watched videos unpacking brand name and how quickly people receive their meds. That's true. It's impressive, and it should be considering the price. Yeah, that's true. And again, it's like a no-brainer if they would, make it affordable and accessible to all. You know, they would probably make so much more money because they would be, doing probably 50 to 100 times more customers, because we have no idea how many people are actually using compounds. There's no good data on that. And again, we know that all these companies are themselves are making millions, if not billions, like Mochi, Orderly, all of them, Lavender Sky, you name it, Hims, Hers, all that. So, that there's so many that I'd never even heard of that are making a lot of money. The first company that I used that had so many red flags made so much money and are still making money. They charge almost what Eli Lilly Direct charges. I don't know how they are still in business, but because like I said, for that price, if literally, I think there's like a $25 price difference. I would definitely go for name brand, something simple like that. So, to me, it just totally doesn't make sense. I think we're going to come down to this. It's just a matter of time. And, because remember, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, they have so many new medications coming out, or Folagram and retatrutide, all of these that are coming out, soon. And from what I hear, they have 40 or 50 others in trials, not just those. So, we're in the infancy of GLP-1 medications. So again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's happening. My guess is we're probably going to have compounds around, with all this. I don't know if you want to call it trickery of adding supplements or, B vitamins to it, this and that, or anti-nausea type of stuff, or whatever they're going to do. Then they'll fight that. That'll take a few months. Then they might find something else. I think we'll have some sort of compounding around for at least the next 6 to 8 months. And like I said, by then, the new medications will be out. I don't know what the threshold is as far as being able to use them. I know that the oral medications, no refrigeration, talk I'm hearing now, $200 for the month. I'd be great with that, I mean, and again, that's just the starting price, so it would eventually probably go down. Eli Lilly is counting so much on this that just from their last report of their last research, without FDA approval, they went ahead in production so that they have enough. And like I said, we're still seeing shortages. As a matter of fact, I just reported because I went to pick up my wife's Monjero, and they only had like half of the order. They were out of it, and they're like, don't know when we're gonna get it in. So, there's still shortages. And like I said, the more people are getting off the compound and switching to Eli Direct and so forth, then, it could create another shortage. And the ironic thing is then compounding companies will be able to sell it again. But again, who knows what's going to happen? This is like the craziest thing I've seen in my lifetime. And I've been around a while, so we'll have to see. Like I said, ultimate goal for me, I would love to see it anywhere from the 250 to 325 range through Eli Direct. I would definitely go through them. I would have no problem with that. They did put all that money into research. They are quick. Uh, Hopefully they'll have the supply issue. I know that the new factories that they have aren't totally up yet. I don't know how close they are, but I think making it available in the vials has definitely helped as far as keeping their supply. Uh, Maybe they need to do that. Maybe they need to make a multi-use pen, kind of like Ozempic does, to help keep costs down. Um, that's it would be interesting. I don't know how many of you out there would prefer vials, multi dose pens, or just the regular pen that it comes in now, the OG way. Let me know what you think. I kind of personally would like the multi-use pen. I've never used Ozempic in that, but I've seen my wife do it, and it's convenient because it's not too big. I think you get like 4 doses out of it, so it's not like you're really overusing the needle. Yeah, you could actually kind of change your dose on it, I believe, by an extra click. So, that would be kind of interesting to me. Like I said, I don't know too much about it because I'm not diabetic. She is. And quite honestly, I wasn't paying too much attention and she wasn't on it too long because she had too many side effects, which is why she stopped the Ozempic. Plus, she just didn't think it was working as well. Um, because, the GLP-1 has the 2 receptors as opposed to just the one that Ozempic has. Sorry, getting the hiccups here. All right, so, boy, I know you're a little too political here, so let's ban you. Bye bye. Sorry, I don't like politics on here. Sometimes I don't notice it right away. Uh, when I do, I'll get rid of it. So, um, how's everybody's journey going? Anybody want to comment? I know my wife said that she, for some reason, gained a little weight. Hasn't changed her eating really at all and has come back down to her what she originally was. I don't know if she was holding water or what it was, but it happens. It's a journey. It's not going to be a straight. It's a journey. There's you know don't be discouraged. Sometimes I wish maybe she would take a little more measurements or stuff like that. But everybody does it the way they feel comfortable doing it. Um, Again, I have been going between 116 and 120 up and down, but I do feel that my clothes are getting a little bit bigger again. So I'm not losing weight, but I'm still losing inches, and I want to lose a little bit, especially I'm one of these people that carry it all in their stomach, so I wouldn't mind getting rid of that. You're down 218 to 176. That is awesome. Way to go. Back to the comments. Okay, down. You're on 8 milligrams. That, to me, that's one of the beautiful things with the compound is you could have those in between doses. It's like my ultimate goal is to get down to 5 milligrams on maintenance. I've tried it once, had a little bit too much food noise, went back up to 7.5. Uh, when I go on vacation, I'm gonna go in between there, probably because I know I'm probably going to eat a little bit more than I normally would, and then afterwards I'll see how that does. And if it, 7.5 might be my magic number for a while. Who knows? It's all pretty new. But ultimately, I do want to go down to 7.5. If I have to make a couple doses in between 7.5 and 5, that's what I'll do. It's like If it doesn't work, oh well, I tried at least. Haven't gotten to the point where I really want to try microdosing or splitting it up because I know the research hasn't been done. Um, my wife here, you give her a little bit of confetti. Hey, Carol. So she's down from 176 to 143. Type 2 diabetics have a harder time losing the weight. So, Carol, keep that in mind. She has COPD, so she's limited as to how much she could exercise. She's been doing chair yoga. We're trying to get her to do a little bit more walking, but her back's been hurting. So, see how the chair yoga goes. I'm trying to convince her to go to physical therapy, but it's her journey. She's got to steer it. Hopefully, the chair yoga will help her get stronger and feel like she wants to do more. And hopefully, that will, and when we go on vacation and she'll do a little bit more walking and a little bit more stuff, it'll get her into doing that a little bit more. So, we'll have to see how that goes. Uh, I moved some dumbbells right by where we watch TV, and like I'm gonna start, you know, doing this with the dumbbells while we're watching. Hopefully, she will, uh, and hopefully that'll, help her with her journey. Because just little movement, you'd be surprised. Just it doesn't take a lot, but any movement helps. And, it helps in a lot of ways. She's drinking a lot of water. We've been really on a water kick, which why I don't. Well, I know I was why I was in the air with dehydration because I had quite a bit of diarrhea from that honeydew that I ate, but or the gastritis, whatever actually caused it. Uh, and yeah, you don't know how important hydration is. I mean, it's it's everything. So drink your waters. Electrolytes are good. And getting back on all my electrolytes since I had the IV bags. Goal weight of 130. That's a good goal weight for you, Carol. Um, Yeah, because I think we figured it out. Like 135 or 136 takes you out of overweight, so you'll just be into normal weight. That's good weight, uh, and it's only 13 pounds, so that's not a lot. I think within 4 months, hopefully you could do it. Okay. Also, love that you could function normally without. Yeah, we try to make nothing off limits. It's, I know that if we eat super bad all day long, we're probably going to get a little sick, but, nothing's off limits. It's, I mean, this is a lifestyle. You just, and I'm trying a new thing. I'm trying not to eat food that I don't like. It's like, I know sometimes you go to a restaurant and you order something, you go, this isn't very good, but, that's all you could eat because that's what you ordered. But, if there's a type of food that I don't particularly like, I'm staying away from it. It's like I'm not going to eat it just because it's even when I go to somebody's house, if take a bite or two, not to be rude or anything, but if I don't like it, I'm not going to eat it. I like food. We all should like food. Some obviously some of us liked it too much and had no control over it, and now I can control and still eat the food that I like. Just like I was thinking the other day, everybody was getting pizza at work. Only I had my lunch, and I really, it was a leftover hamburger, my favorite food. Uh, like I'm thinking, I could have a piece of pizza, but I had my hamburger. But it's not off limits. I'm not going to do that every week though, or a couple times a week. And then one piece will do it. So nothing is off limits, and I'm sticking to eating food that I like. It's I'm not going to have like all. What's a good example? Raw vegetables. Now, I don't mind raw vegetables once in a while, but not to eat them alone. I used to like them in blue cheese or honey mustard. Well, there's light those. Or I don't mind having it in hummus, but again, it's not one of my favorite foods. I like it. Sometimes like during a game or during TV, I wouldn't mind having it, but I'm not just going to have it just because that's what you're supposed to eat on a diet. It's not my favorite food, but you'd be surprised once in a while. I'm in the mood for it. It's like what's a party without a good veggie tray, or a football game party without a good veggie tray. So after you and Carol tried the high-protein shakes. Cookies and creams, 30 grams protein, only 160s. Impressed. Well, I like mine kind of like a smoothie, so I make them in a blender. So I usually don't have pre-made ones. I think I actually have one of the ones that I have here. I use these Thrive. This is peppermint. Um, Again, because I'm full of ice, throw a little bit of yogurt in there, kind of. So it's more like a milkshake type of thing. Um, that's just me. I'll have my wife try them. That sounds really good for her. She likes cookies and creams. She's really a chocolate Walmart. Good to know, because when we go away, um, we'll probably get some, because even though that's not my favorite, I'm not really a breakfast person, because I'm going to be probably getting up earlier than Carol and working out and stuff. I might grab one. So we'll give it a try then. Sounds really good. Thanks for the tip, Val. Uh, Thanks for entering my contest, Val. We're almost ready to have another drawing. Hopefully within a week or so, we'll have another drawing. I think I'm going to have it that if you're the winner before, I don't know if I'd really want to have you win 2 times in a row, but I'll keep all your, once you're entered for life. The name bucket just gets larger and larger, and every time that you enter, name goes in it again. So the only thing I'm thinking is maybe the same person shouldn't win 2 weeks in a row, but keep entering, because the next time it'll increase your chances. And that's that. Had some interesting videos, hopefully, that you found interesting, that I put out. Menopause and its GLP-1 study done on what GLP-1 medication does to your teeth. If you're interested in any of these, please look at the channel. Please enter the contest. It does help. My Mochi provider suggested that I change my dose to 2 times a week due to the side effects. Okay, that makes sense. You could get you could get the syringes pretty cheap on Amazon. I think when I first started this journey, I ordered a box. I don't recall if it was 25 or 50, but they were like $5, $6. Excuse me. And again, let's see if I can look them up here. So Amazon. Let me change my Amazon room. So let me see if I could look them up really quick. Oops, if I spell syringes right. Okay, so they don't have that kind anymore. So let's do it this way. Sorry, it's taking so long. Not the best thumb typer. Okay, 31 gauge needles. They've gone up, but hasn't everything. Okay, you could get a pack of 100 of them for $25. Uh, if you could see that. There's probably other companies. I would suggest a 31 gauge diabetic syringe. Let's see if they have other ones that you could do. There's some with a 30 gauge, again, 25 pack, $15. But, they last forever. There's some, $24. So they've gone up in the 2 years. So, but it hasn't everything. I mean, look at the prices of food. It's crazy. For some reason this week I'm in the mood for beef. I actually had a hamburger for lunch and I'll probably have seafood tonight, but I do have skirt steak that I'm going to make this week. I'm going to try to do a couple more cooking videos. Like I said, I think I have like 30 on there, and that's fairly much my repertoire of things, especially quick things. I may add some that are a little bit longer to make, uh, just for some options. Maybe like a stir fry or something along those lines. Um, so, we'll see. Like I said, anybody have any suggestions? Uh, yeah. I see Val was on carnivore for 8 months. She gained 3 pounds. Wrong direction for the scale. But did you do measurements? It's not all just the scale. A scale is just a tool. Again, I'll take if you lose, inches anytime, and remember, with all that protein, you could have gained muscle, which weighs more. But I'm not pushing carnivore, but I do believe in high protein diets and lower carb, or at least having good carbs. I did have an interview with my second cousin who is almost carnivore. He does have vegetables and some fruit, though. And I've been looking online. It seems that a lot of people do have a little bit of vegetables or a little bit of potato. Uh, I guess you really can't go 100% protein. I don't know how healthy that would be, or get constipated or what like that. But again, I'm not really interested in going carnivore. I do like the fact that it's a little bit more natural. When I do get beef, I do try to get higher grade beef and grass fed. Uh, Again, you have to trust some of these um, stores that it actually is, because they don't have a huge amount of regulations. But always try to at least get, even when I go to the regular grocery store, antibiotic free, uh, things like that. I'm not going to say that I'm 100% natural, because I'm not. My biggest downfall, I have to have my coffee made sugar-free, vanilla, cream in my coffee. I know that's really bad for you, but that's one of my vices. I try to keep clean in a lot of ways, but you know, you got to live. It is what it is. Everybody's going to have their little vices. Everything is moderation. Um, so tonight, I think we're going to have some yellowtail snapper. I had some red snapper the other day that really wasn't very good. It's like, I don't know. And it's the store that I usually buy it in. I don't know what it was. I mean, it was edible, but I guess I got used to the yellowtail, which is, a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter type taste. I think also in my cooking series, I'm going to do some orange roughy, which is a similar type of fish to tilapia in the fact that it's it's a less expensive white fish. It does probably have a little bit more mercury than some of the other fish, because it is a bottom fish, but we don't have it too often. And usually I take some honey mustard at the very end and put it on it, because again, it kind of takes the taste of however you cook it, because it itself, in that way, it's very similar to tilapia. It doesn't have a huge taste, but again, we like seafood and, variety sometimes. In our little repertoire, we have salmon, and we tend to like the Faroe Island salmon because it's, in such cold water and it's not like farmed. We have our yellowtail snapper. We have our swordfish. Uh, Occasionally we'll have some tile fish again. It's occasionally some mahi. It's kind of like basically what our repertoire is. Again, we'll have some tilapia once in a while. We have our trout. Um, so, you know, that's it as far as how we're going to eat. I'm hopefully going to do some videos when we go out, showing people, yes, it's okay to go off of, what you normally eat, just moderation, of course. Carol and I plan on sharing some of the, like there's one of the best little Italian places that has the best lasagna, uh, almost walking distance from where we're staying. And we're probably going to just split it, and who knows if we'll even eat it because it is pretty heavy. But again, moderation. Our portion sizes aren't what they used to be, so that's going to help. And I'm okay if we gain a couple pounds while we go away. I am going to work out just about every day because, like I said, I get up a lot earlier than my wife, and I think her sister's coming with us. I think she's a late sleeper too, so I don't want to sit around doing nothing, trying to be quiet. So if I'm not doing a video, I'll be going to the gym, doing some errands, stuff like that, maybe a little shopping, because they probably won't be ready to do anything till like 11, 12 o'clock. And for me, sleeping late is till like 5 in the morning. So it's like I'll have plenty of time. Um, the Hot Works that I normally go to actually has a Hot Works. It's about 40 minutes away. I'm not sure if I'm going to make that drive or not. We'll see. But the regular gym might be fine. I've done it before. Today I kind of, again, since I had that thing with the dehydration, figured I'm going to kind of pass on the working out in sauna, and just go to the gym and do it there. So that's what I did. Um, we had hogfish the other day. Yes, it was good. Uh, I guess it comes in spurts because, like last year, and I want to say probably in June-ish or so, it was pretty plentiful, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So I don't know if there's a season. I don't know too much about it, so we'll have to see. But yeah, it is good. We like trying all different kinds of seafood. Uh, Again, South Florida, we're just loaded with it. That's one good thing about living here. And there's plenty of good things, but that's one of the things that I really like. There's actually a hogfish, and then there's a hog version of snapper, but they're both very similar. Um, Again, I couldn't tell you for sure which one this was because I kind of found it cleaning out the freezer because I'm trying to clear out some of the freezer just in case we get a hurricane and lose power. I don't want to lose too much food, so that's what we're doing. Again, we have some chicken in there. I'm going to kind of ignore that last study that I just saw. We don't really eat too much chicken. If we have chicken once a week, that's usually a lot. We do tend to have chicken salad or chicken for lunch, but like I said, they're going to find something wrong with all types of food. I mean, hell, the air that we breathe is bad for us. It's full of pollutants. It's full of toxins. It's full of allergens. So, what are we going to do? Stop breathing? I don't think so. So, anything anybody wants to know about any future things? Let's see. Let me see what I have coming out. Type up my thing real quick. Some biohacks. Actually go to my studio. That'll have it a little bit better. Content. Visibility. Okay. Carb cycling. I used to carb cycle. And it really did work. I carb cycled before I started the GLP-1 medication, and again, I liked it. Uh, it is kind of like basically what we're doing now. Although we don't really have the high carb days. Again, a little bit different because Carol and I are a little bit different points. So if I was going to load up on carbs, it would probably be more at lunchtime when she's not here. Um, and that's probably the biggest one. Couple of ideas that I had coming up. With who's the latest celebrity taking GLP-1? Again, there's really only so many topics, so it's like some of it's presenting it in different ways, but it is what it is. I want everybody to be knowledgeable on it. Uh, Enjoy donuts and cake too. Now a donut tastes greasy. Isn't it funny how this medication has made us taste foods differently? Somebody brought donuts to work, and like they had a half of a Boston cream, and I used to really like that. I'm like, well, how about a half of that half? And it was, again, I did feel the grease, and it was just a little bit too sweet. Like I said, as far as like my favorite peanut butter cups, I actually prefer the Atkins and the Quest ones over the Reese's because those are just too sweet. But your tastes do change with that, so that's kind of funny. So, anybody, any other questions? Fruit is my favorite dessert. Um, the only reason I've been eating a little bit more of the peanut butter cup type of Atkins or Quest or whatever is because I don't want to lose any more weight. So, like, again, it's a good choice because it doesn't have a lot of sugar. It won't spike my insulin. Um, so I kind of like have thrown that into the mix. I know it's considered a processed food, but moderation is the key. So, do you have any favorite desserts that you use and enjoy? Again, I like my little Atkins candy type of stuff. And as far as dessert, we eat a lot of fruit. To me, there's a farmer's market by us that, like honeydew is my favorite fruit. It's not really in season now, so I think they get it from South America. I think it's called Dino Melon, and it's been really good. Uh, they'll fly the stuff in from all over wherever it is in season. So, for me, I'm very lucky I have that. And I know with summer coming up, the farmers markets all around the country are opening up. So take advantage of that. Fresh fruit and fresh vegetables are super good for you. And, most of them are local. So that's good too. Farm fresh is really good. You can't really beat that. Uh, so, that's my favorite dessert. Uh, we did at the holidays try to have some like we had sugar-free like Cool Whip or something, and then we added like butterscotch sugar-free pudding in it. It was okay. And, uh, I know that we used to take frozen bananas and frozen fruit, a little bit of milk, and put it in the Vitamix, make like an ice cream like that. That's good. You know, uh, I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just that usually when I think of it, it's not at a point where we should be having it. It's like one of us is really, like Carol was trying to break a stall, or I was trying to break a stall, or something like that. And to add something like that, it really wasn't the right time. But we've done that on other diets, and that is very good. That makes a really good dessert. Um, Hand gets itchy from cutting pineapple. but I'll buy it already cubed. Like I said, farmers market's coming up. All this fruit is coming in season, even at the local grocery stores. Um, that's the good thing about summer is, it's really good fruit season. I've learned as far as our local grocery store is Publix. When they tend to start having things buy one, get one, they're usually pretty in season or pretty ripe or, pretty good when they do that because they're they're not going to do that when if it's crappy fruit because people will get pissed off and they won't shop there anymore. So yeah, that's what I have to say about the fruit. Like I said, farmers markets are great if you have any local fruit places. Take advantage of them. Plus, if you go to a farmer's market, you get to walk around, park a little bit further away, so you get some extra steps, win-win. Everything's good with that. So, anybody have Publix is 5 stars. Yeah, they're a little expensive though, and some of their stuff. I actually did a video the other day of how I go through Publix, but the sound came out terrible, so I have to actually redo it. But some of their leafy stuff, yeah, just wasn't quite up to par. Again, you have to be careful. I do like that Publix has the fresh fruit already in the bag that you could pop in the microwave to steam. I know they have that in other stores. I know Walmart also has some of that, not quite as much as the Publix has. But again, for me, since I get home so late, it's just so important that I have dinner in like 12 minutes or less because it's late and I usually go to bed an hour after I eat. So I don't want to spend a half hour, 40 minutes, making vegetables, stuff like that. Plus, I have a couple of really good microwave steamers that, and they sell them all over. Basically, you put a little bit of water at the bottom, you put your vegetables in, it's made of silicone, and you pop it in for 4 minutes with the water boils and like within a minute and a half, and the rest of the time it's actually steaming the vegetables. If it's a vegetable that takes a little bit longer, even though the microwave is off, just leave it another minute and it's still steaming in there. So that helps too if I don't happen to have the vegetables in the bag. uh, okay, I love markets too. They're just fun. It's even if you don't buy anything, it's good old fun. So I'm gonna kind of wrap this one up for today. I want to thank everybody for being here. You've been great. Appreciate all the support. Please keep entering the contest. Share it with your friends if you think they might be interested. Uh, Definitely hit that like, make a comment. It really helps YouTube with the algorithm to spread this out as to get it to the right people. And hopefully, I'm only a few months away from being monetized. And not that I'm going to make a lot of money. These YouTube, especially in a niche like this, you're lucky if you can make $100 or $200 a month. But hey, everything helps. Uh, I'm going to keep doing this whether I make that or not. So, because I care about you guys, and I so want this medication to be available to everybody, and I want the prices to come down, and that's what I'm doing this for, and to educate people and to help them with their journeys, and tell them about mistakes that I've made, so hopefully they don't make them, and so forth. So I want the rest of you to have a great Sunday. Enjoy your weekend. Again, I'm not sure if there's going to be a live Sunday. Maybe I'll be able to do it Saturday or Monday. For all of you mothers out there, have a good Mother's Day. If you're not mothers, wish your mother a good Mother's Day. And thank you for joining me. And access does matter. Yes, pop that up as the last thing. Uh, that's what this is all about. Um, Again, we could get this down to somewhere between 200 and 320 a month, and available I'm happy. I'd be happier with it cheaper, but like let's it's like the weight loss journey. One goal first, then the next goal. So have a good one, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.